Hey, welcome back to round 2. We're on BUG Zenith in Legacy, playing against JR272. This hand is pretty nice. The Sylvan Library is really great. It isn't a force hand, but I think this is more than fine, especially with the double Zenith as well. I'm happy to keep this. Depending on if my opponent is on a Wasteland deck or not, we might go for basic Forest here. LED straight up is pretty insane. So this looks like it's going to be Dredge. So Green Suns for Scavenging Ooze is probably likely my first Green Suns. Looting, pitch the LED for 3 red and get some Dredges in the bin. Nice. Good start from my opponent. Two Icarids. Hitting Cabal here is pretty bad for us, so I think we're just going to concede and go straight into game 2. We just have a pretty slow start that isn't really going to be able to keep up with their graveyard. So here I really like Leyline. I don't mind Veil because of the Cabal therapies. I think we can take out some number of decays. Force of Negation is pretty nice. Leovold's interesting. I think we can drop one. I still like Force of Will, especially if you can Force of Will a LED or some sort of effect like Breakthrough. There are situations where we might actually want an Abrupt Decay because Abrupt Decaying our own creatures to get rid of bridges is definitely an option. And especially since a lot of our creatures replace themselves, it's not too bad going down on an extra card. I might drop an Oko. The Plague Engineers are nice because we can name Zombie if we have both out. Also a lot of their creatures that are X1s like Icarids and Narcomoebas. Probably going to go down on the Karakas. However, if they're on Hogak, I probably want to keep it in. Uro is interesting. I think Uro can probably come out in this matchup. Just isn't where we really want to be. Jace is pretty nice. Questing Beast is really nice because a lot of their creatures can't block it. Brazen Borrower can probably come out. I don't think a bounce effect is that relevant. And I might just go down on one fetch land. Ah, but of course, because we're playing a 61 card deck, let's tick up. Liliana's interesting. But I'm not sure if Liliana's really where this deck wants to be. I think I'd rather just make sure our mana's on point. Interesting hand. We have the Noble for turn 1 and Jace later on, but in between that, I think Dredge is just going to go a little bit too wide and kind of have free reign with this hand, so we're going to mulligan this. This is better, but it's not a Leyline hand, and I think we need to mulligan to Leyline pretty aggressively, so... Still not getting there, which is pretty funny. I'm going to mulligan once more. Okay, we'll keep this. Bottom. Force. I might keep the Dryad Arbor for now. Karakas. I'm going to bottom Green Suns because we already have the Ooze. So we can go turn 1 Leyline, Dryad Arbor, turn 2 Scavenging Ooze. Just hope they haven't brought in something like Force of Vigor. They might think we're on Surgicals or Ferromacabres instead. Study's going to be fine. So if we don't draw a land next turn, I have to decide if I want a second green source or if I want to go for a Underground Sea. I think this makes me want to go for a Bayou. Looks like a Hogaak's in the bin, which is nice for us. It's not coming out early on. And a Bridge, which is a pretty great win for us. A land here is pretty perfect. We get to get this Plague Engineer online. I'm just going to get a Trop. It's another green source and it also allows us to have all colors online now. I'm going to find out what Narcomoeba is. Let's look at actually the Legacy Dredge deck. Narcomoeba is an illusion. Putrid Imp is a zombie imp. Golgari Thug, human warrior. Narcomoeba illusion. Stinkweed Imp is an imp. Icarid is a horror. Golgari Grave Troll is a troll skeleton. Street Wraith is a wraith. Maybe zombie is just the greatest name. I don't mind zombie here. One reason I do like Leyline is that it allows us to build out a board while our opponent tries to find an answer for it. It means they can't rely on the graveyard as a resource to find their answers as well. So it's been really nice, especially going down to 4. It just shows the power of Leyline that we were able to come back and actually provide some sort of clock. They're obviously digging for something. I'm not too sure what that is yet, but another Trop. Attack for 5. We have a 3-turn clock that gets a little bit better because of their City Brass. Looks like just a pass for our opponent. Ice-Fang's pretty nice. We can get a redraw off it. Probably want to attack first. I guess we can hold back the Dryad Arbor because this puts them to 6. And then if they want to use a city that goes to 5 anyway. This also means we can play the Ice-Fang Coatl and have up a Trop and a Bayou if we draw into another 2-drop. Alright, Leyline just gets there. Looking back, I don't think we want to change anything. Collective is interesting, but I think it's just a little bit too slow for a deck that relies on the fast stats from LED. It's not like a turn 5 LED is going to do anything that we're really worried about. I think I'm happy just running this back. This hand is really nice. We also have the Veil, which we can hold up to try to keep the Leyline from being hit by something. But if they have a Force of Vigor over Assassin's Trophy, it does nothing. But I'm happy to keep this because the deck still has a pretty good plan. If they're starting off with looting, I assume that they don't have an answer just yet, and they're actually trying to draw into it. So if we draw into a land that isn't Dryad Arbor, I'm pretty happy to go Veil of Summer Pass, Tarmogoyf. So if I want to save this from an Leyline from an Assassin's Trophy, I can play the Misty and pass. But the reason I want to do that is that otherwise we don't have a great plan against Dredge. We have a lot of good cards, but we don't have anything to slow them down with. They're also down to 3 cards, so I think I'm happy actually just to play Misty, fetch for a tropical island, and play the Noble Hierarch. No Force of Vigor from my opponent is really nice. Another looting, okay. That's more than fine. These are these are all great cards for Dredge, so to see them in exile this early is really nice for us. So now I have the option of Tarmogoyf and hold up Veil, or Oko. I also have the option of playing Dryad Arbor and then tapping out for Goyf. I think playing Oko here is fine. It just puts us ahead so far. It also means our clock's a little bit faster because the Goyf would most likely only be a 2-3 with Exalted, and our opponent is just passing here, so a nice little win. Verdant means we can also slam Jace this turn, but I don't mind just going Dryad Arbor, Goyf, and then holding up Veil of Summer. I think we're so far ahead now as well that Veil can most likely just be cycled if they cast anything. But it looks like they won't. Scooters. Alright. Let's go for Jace. Let's Brainstorm. Put this on top. And probably the Gilded Goose. I'm going to make the Goyf for 3-3 and just attack for 6 here. This is pretty much a 2-turn clock if it turns off the City Brass, which is nice. And now we can just pass. Veil of Summer up as well, which is really nice. Unfortunately, my opponent can't even play a blocker because the Jace can just bounce it. We also have Abrupt Decay to remove it. So looking like a pretty good position, and luckily get back for a 1-1 league. So hope you guys enjoyed that. My name is Dukes on Twitch. I'll see you for the next round.